Welcome, fellow Rotarians and Rotaractors. My name is Steve Aegis, and I'm the chair of the coaching committee of Rotary Works. I'm proud to welcome all of you to our series on career strategies. This series is part of a program entitled Rotary Works, a program by Rotarians, for Rotarians, and Rotaractors. Rotary Works is a Zones 33-34 initiative that offers professional and skill development seminars, coaching, connecting, resources, a place to post and find job opportunities, and later this year, the small scholarship program. Learn more by typing into your browser rotary.works. You'll be redirected to the Zone 3334 website where you can learn about Rotary Works. So let's get today's show on the road. Our presenters today are PDG Claudia Myrtle, who owned her own successful business for over 30 years, and also AG Rich, the HR Guy Salon. They're going to help you identify what it is you want to do, and then how to create an action plan. If you have questions, please use the chat box at the bottom of your screen, and we will address them during the question and answer portion after the presentation. Please put your questions in all cap letters if you would. So thank you.
Welcome back, Rotarians. It is great to be here with our fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, and family members. It's good to see many returning faces from our initial professional development series on January 13th. For those of you who attended that session, we hope you took multiple things and proceeded to put some of them into action. The January 13th session, Vocation, Evaluation, and Opportunities, focused on how to determine where to start, how to get where you want to go, and finding your why. That presentation was designed to be the kickstart for anyone in career search. If you were not able to attend that session, we encourage you to go back, view this recording. It can be found at rotary.works. Again, look for that session. It's called Vocation, Evaluation, and Opportunities. That was a critical presentation because you need to understand where to start. It'll create your focus. As a reminder, all of our sessions aim to help those either out of work or in career transition, anyone in a career but feeling vulnerable, our important Rotaractors moving from college to professional, any career changers desiring more fulfillment, those in a career but seeking to improve in their current role, and lastly, anyone attending today for the benefit of others. And that's a great reason to be here. Thanks again. I'm turning it over to Past District Governor Claudia.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks so much for being here. We're excited about the presentation today. So let's go over a few session objectives for you. Number one, we want to identify, create, and implement your action plan. Number two, we want to learn the importance of a marketing plan document. And number three, we want to determine marketing techniques that you can use to market yourself. So let's start with what's a SMART objective. We're going to say specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic or relevant, and time-bound. And you've heard this before. So this is what it looks like to set SMART goals and objectives. They are so specific that you know exactly what you're going to do. You can measure what you need to do. You can plan how to get there from here. You know you can actually do it. And lastly, you know exactly when it'll all happen. So the key to following through on your resolution is to remember your why. Rich just mentioned that again, and it was brought up last session. So if you remember your why, you'll follow through no matter what. So let's talk about some things to decide when you're setting your goal. Why does what you're doing matter to you? How is it going to help you get where you want to be? You want to make your goal as specific as possible and make sure it's focused on a behavior over which you have control and which you can do right now. So put yourself in that right mindset to start taking action. Feed your mind success. Believe you can do it. Keep your plan in front of you. Some people put it on their screensaver or their homepage, wherever it is always in front of them. So, how do you create and implement your action plan? These 3 steps will get you from where you are to where you want to be. You may have adopted your own ideas or your own ways to develop your action plan. And if they're fine and they work for you, that's great. But the system below, as basic as it may seem, this is a very workable process. Number 1, create an overall goal. Number 2, decide on about 3 objectives. Number 3, list the actions under each one of those objectives. So now let's go a little bit deeper into this 3-step procedure. In order to start creating and implementing your action plan, you need to first have an overall goal, then several objectives, and then the action plan. So let's say you want to look for your future with an action plan to find out what you have to offer to find job fulfillment. So number 1 on the plan to create and implement your action plan is to create an overall goal. So let's just say in your overall goal, you want to develop an action plan for my future based on my interests and my abilities by February 25th. Job fulfillment is usually based on your interests and on your abilities. So you want to highlight them in your goal. Number 2 on the plan to create and implement your action plan is to decide on no more than 3 objectives. Don't get bogged down with a lot of objectives. Let's just say objective number 1 underneath the overall goal might be make a comprehensive list of my interests and my abilities by February 6th. So now we have an overall goal and 1 objective. Now, number 3 on how to create and implement your action plan was to list action items. So action items for objective number 1 might be A, complete the list with my interests and abilities by February 15th. Second one might be to select my top 3 interests and abilities by February 20th. Wow, look at all those words on that next slide. That's a big no-no in slide presentations, but bear with me as we take a closer look at what we've just done to construct our action plan. Let's go first to goal. Develop an action plan for my future based on my interests and my abilities. Then the objective, make a comprehensive list. And the action plan, complete the list and prioritize the items. You can use any dates or times or anything that you want that best suits you. This is how our pretend person would develop the beginnings of the rest of a life well lived. Once this has been accomplished, the sky's the limit for any additional goals or objectives or action plans that you want to do. This goal setting is only one of many ways to accomplish how you move forward in life. Just move forward. Do what you can with what you have where you are. Theodore Roosevelt had it right. This is all any of us can do, but we can start right now and make a new ending to our lives. Your past is your yesterday, your history. What's important here is where you are now and where you're headed. Many of us, most of us, expect change way too soon. We expect everything yesterday, don't we? We expect everything to be easy. We expect everything to last when we do it. It doesn't work that way, does it? The only expectation you should have of yourself is that you will keep going. When it's inconvenient, you'll keep going. When it's getting tedious, you'll keep going. When it's taking more time than you had planned, you'll keep going. If you keep going, you will find that you can have anything that you want. But a negative mind and a positive life sometimes don't complement each other so well, do they? Remember that your brain is a reward finder. It is constantly looking for the fastest path to a reward. The faster the path, the more resources your brain will put in that direction. But when you lose focus on your main agenda and you start 5 or 6 different projects at once, it's hard to keep your progress going forward. Your effort is being diffused over 5 projects, so forward progress is hindered. The rewards aren't showing up, and you're not seeing progress. When you focus on one task, your brain can see progress. It knows where it is in the task, and it has an idea of when it will be done. You're making constant progress. Now, constant progress means constant rewards, and constant rewards means constant focus. A little smart activity that you can do if you're having trouble focusing and you want to get the ball rolling, pick one task that you can expect to see some progress in the next 5 to 10 minutes. The rapid reward that you get will boost your focus, and you can use that boost, that momentum, to start in on your important work, like your goals and your objectives and your action plans. Doing things perfectly is sometimes necessary, but there are plenty of times when you certainly don't need to achieve perfection. Aim for good enough. Learning the difference between perfection and good enough is one of the most important principles of effective time management. Stay focused. Get out in the world and make some mistakes. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Claudia. The career search today may feel different. Gone are the days of, yeah, just send me your resume and I'll forward it to some of my friends. Well, that's completely useless. Or, hey, if I hear anything, I'll let you know. Again, completely useless. Those actions went out during the Reagan administration. Today's career search, again, will likely feel different to you. Look, it's likely that each of you have some great past experience, a resume, and a desire to move into the next leg on your career journey. Take your ideas, take your commitments, and take the first step in making them happen. As a reminder, hope is not a strategy. By the way, you know what's coming up on February 7th? You bet. It's this year's Super Bowl in Tampa, Florida. Each of the football players are important. The linemen, the safeties, the receivers, the quarterback. We challenge each of you to be the quarterback in your Super Bowl. By the way, with a show of hands out there, who's rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Come on, hands up. Okay, Buccaneer fans, hands down. Now, raise your hand if you're rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not bad. Okay. I think we're in for a great game. Again, Super Bowl on February 7th. But again, we challenge each of you, take control of your career search, just like the quarterback takes control of the offensive unit. The quarterback also assumes accountability for the offensive unit's results. Please remember that accountability in your career search rests with you. Now let's talk about some marketing techniques. And we're going to talk about separate marketing techniques for employment, consulting, and business ownership, because they really are 3 different paths and have 3 different sets of techniques. For those seeking employment out there, here's the first of 2 marketing techniques we're going to talk about today. And here's number 1. A marketing plan, or some call it a marketing summary, is critical. This document is more important than your resume. Yeah, I'm going to repeat it. Your marketing plan is more important than your resume. You got to have the resume. Your resume is your past, and your marketing plan is your future. Your resume will be used during job interviews. The marketing plan is designed to lead you to more interviews. You will not present your marketing plan during actual job interviews. Again, job interviews reserved for the resume. Marketing plan is the behind the scenes work you're going to utilize to get you more interviews. For job seekers, they are 80 to 90% likely to be led to their next job by someone they know slightly to someone they know slightly well. This comes in the way of referrals and introductions to others. The phrase, "Who do we know?" will be very important during today's session. People assisting a job seeker are much more interested in understanding what the person wants to do going forward versus what the person has done in the past. We're not downplaying the resume or past experience, not at all. Marketing plan templates can be created by yourself, or you can utilize one already available. I'm just going to show one up on the screen. This is a sample marketing plan. This happens to be mine from a few years ago. It doesn't look like a resume. It's one page. It clearly is not a resume. Doesn't feel like a resume, and it's not a resume. By the way, this document, this template, it's going to be up on the Rotary Works website very, very soon. It's a great template. So there's thousands of people out there currently using it. Again, go to the Rotary Works website soon. You'll see a link to career transition resources on the right-hand side. Again, look for it soon. Now, in that document at the bottom was the target companies. The target companies is the most important part of your marketing plan using this technique. This section identifies companies you want to work for where you can also provide significant value. You are convinced you can solve their problems and make the company stronger. Here's why the target companies section of the marketing plan document is so critical. The goal is to get 3 or more people at each of your target companies to recommend you when an open job is conceived, not after the job is publicly posted, but at the point where the approval to fill the job is given. Again, 80% to 90% of jobs are filled based on who do we know. There appears to be almost a bit of a phobia within companies. They prefer to hire someone connected to the hiring manager, the department, the location, or the company. Again, it is what it is. Almost a phobia out there. Connectedness to the organization where you want to work is huge. You may already have a strong connection within the organization. You may have no connection. Where you have no connection or little connection, you need to make it happen. And we'll be talking about that. We have a rule in career transition that says if you wait for the job to be posted, you're likely too late. It's common for organizations to have identified final candidates prior to the position being publicly posted. Not 100% ironclad, but very, very often. Additionally, a high percentage of jobs are never posted. We call this the hidden job market. Companies would typically prefer not to post a job and instead utilize the candidate identification process of who do we know? For people only pursuing job postings, they are missing out on a ton of actual job opportunities. Once you've completed your marketing plan document with 30 or more target companies at the bottom, it's time to get others to recommend you when a job is conceived. Again, not posted, conceived, approved to hire. Your mission is to get multiple people from organizations to understand your career passions and also why you are a terrific fit for their company. You do this by requesting one-on-one meetings. Some call them informational interviews. Okay, it's not a job interview. You're not talking about a job. It's an informational interview. These meetings are designed to collect information about their company. While you're at it, you might as well learn about other companies and local industries. Here's a phrase to consider when requesting one-on-ones. Because saying, I need a job, I'm looking for a job, again, that's about 80 years old too. Okay, it's old. Here's a phrase to consider. when you're requesting one-on-ones. I'm currently researching companies and industries in the area, trying to find the next leg in my career journey. I'm seeking your valuable advice and insights and helping me get there. Again, I'm researching companies and industries in the area. Okay. They know you're looking for a job. Okay. But it'll open up more doors. One thing to consider is obtaining a Zoom account. There's currently a free version available. I believe the limit's 40 minutes, but that's typically enough time for a one-on-one. I think Zoom is better than a phone call to meet someone if you're not meeting in person. Again, you're seeing them, you're getting their full attention. You can confirm you got their attention, easier than a phone call. Here are some of the goals for each one-on-one meeting. You want to obtain information that's important to you. Next is showing the person you can solve an employer's problems and make the organization stronger. Obtain introductions to others, whether they be within your company, employed by another company, or they're simply a super connector. Don't worry if they are not in your field. If you're in procurement, they're in accounting, it doesn't matter. You want people to lead you to additional people, more introductions, more advice, more insights, better known. Again, the hope is they will lead you to where you want to go. Again, the more people who know your passions and talents will increase the likelihood of others being opened for you. Here are some suggested actions to consider in the one-on-one meeting. Look, ask the person if there are any other companies that you should be targeting, pointing to your list of target companies. If the person has not offered to introduce you to others, such as colleagues and other professionals, simply ask the person, is there any chance you know people at any of these organizations? If the answer is yes, that's right. Then ask the person, would you be willing to introduce them to me? Again, seek more introductions, the more people who know your passions and talents. Okay, that's technique for job seekers number one, targeting companies method. I'm going to tell you about a second method. I call it the A-list method, or working your A-list and then your B-list. Okay, to shorten it, we'll just call it the A-list method. Consider identifying your A-list. Your A-list are people who you currently know and they're high level. Okay, that's your A-list. Your A-listers can hopefully open doors for you. Meet with them just like any other one-on-one meeting. Most importantly, showing them your marketing plan, seeking their advice, dazzle them with your talents. Utilize the same pattern of discussion we talked about a few minutes ago. Ask the person for introductions to others. While you're meeting with people from your A list, go ahead and identify members of your B list. They're important as well. Your B list people are people that are high level, but you don't know them really well yet. Or the other people, they're not high level, but you know very, very well. Those are important. Schedule one-on-one meetings with your B list people. Fill up your calendar. Conduct these one-on-one meetings just like we talked about earlier. Seeking introductions to others within or outside your target companies. Again, voicing your passions and at the same time dazzling them with your talents. So I'm sending it back to Past District Governor Claudia.
Thanks, Rich. Good job. And again, employment is only one of your career options. Let's talk about how you can market yourself to move into another area, the consulting field. The process there may sometimes be easier than the employment route. You can start with identifying your areas of expertise. What are your friends telling you that you are really good at doing? What do you feel that you have as a special talent that might be translated into a consulting talent, into a consulting area? Now confirm to yourself that that talent is fulfilling and that it will be a job that will be fulfilling to you. If you want to own your own consulting practice, consider meeting with people that you trust, people who know the businesses in the area. they can validate whether companies may have a consulting position available, one that you can use as your expertise, that use the expertise that you're selling to them. Next is to identify people who have been successful consultants, obtain their advice and their insights on how to break into consulting. There are likely webinars, courses, and professional associations that are going to help you understand how to open that consulting practice, and they're out there for you and to get you headed in the right direction. Consulting may just be your career option. You may love it. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Claudia. Let's talk about how to pursue business ownership. We talked earlier about employment, terrific career option. Claudia just talked about consulting, terrific career option. Becoming your own boss is a popular career choice, as some people seek more control of their career. Again, this whole program is career transition, not job transition. And remember, talent has options. There are 3 types of businesses to consider. There's business startups, there's buying an existing business, and there's also franchises. For business startups, okay, opening up your own true shingle, your idea, you have to have a service or a product to take to market. It also takes the ability to market your service or product. One suggestion is to take your business startup idea, seek the assistance of a voluntary business mentor. The SCORE organization, SCORE, SCORE, is a national organization with local chapters that would be happy to provide guidance in all facets of a business startup. People interested in purchasing an existing business, they can approach a business broker to see what businesses they're currently trying to sell, to help a business owner sell. They can also view businesses for sale that are advertised. Biz Buy Sell, again, BIZBUYSELL, Biz Buy Sell is one source available. You'll have to do your due diligence to determine if the purchase is best for you. And then there's franchise ownership. There are about 3,800 to 4,000 franchise options available today. Some are brick and mortar and others are home-based businesses, and the variety of businesses is wide. Recent numbers include about 750,000 franchise operations in the United States alone, employing about 7.6 million people. It's actually a big part of our economy. You can go directly to a franchise company or go to a franchise consultant who has referral agreements with several hundred of them. The franchise consultant is paid by the franchise company, not the candidate, and their job is to coach the candidate through the entire process. Our April presentation is titled, So You Want to Become Your Own Boss, and we'll dive deeper into business ownership in that session. Back to Claudia.
Thanks, Rich. Now let's go over what we started out with. We were going to do session objectives, and they were going to be identify, create, and implement your action plan. And we determined exactly how to do that. We determined how to identify, create, and implement goals, objectives, and the action plan. Number 2, learn the importance of a marketing plan document. Remember that marketing yourself is your future, and that's what people want to hear about. The personal marketing plan, as Rich has mentioned earlier, can be found in a very short time on the Rotary.works website under the resource material. The 3rd was determining marketing techniques that you can use to market yourself. We've learned just a few techniques for marketing yourself, and that techniques vary. They vary between your job search, your consulting, and your business ownership. Now, in the last session, we were asked to recommend some material that you might be able to use. You will find some recommended websites and book titles under the resource page on the Rotary.works site. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but it may guide you forward. These are intended for both personal advancement and business advancement, and we hope that you enjoy them. Finally, when life gets you down, hold on. You have not yet seen the next chapter nor turned the next page in the book of your life. The book of your life is full of unfamiliar twists and turns, uncertainty, Wonderful surprises and adventures and many successes just waiting to happen to you. Go find them. Stop asking why and start asking why not. How we respond to life today will determine our success tomorrow. So go and be successful. And if there is anything that we can do to help your journey, please contact us. Our information is on the slide. We would be glad to answer or find the answer to any questions that you might have about taking action and marketing in your career journey. Area Governor Rich, back to you.
Thanks, Claudia. Our session on January 13th helped you identify your professional passions and determine which career paths you should consider pursuing. Today's session was designed to help you take the appropriate actions and helping you move into the next leg of your career journey. This included appropriate marketing techniques. We hope you benefited from today's sessions. As a reminder, the best times are always ahead of us. Our next professional development session will be held on Wednesday, February 10th, 1 p.m. The topics on February 10th are personal branding, networking, and utilizing LinkedIn. Please join us for the session. You won't want to miss it. Again, thank you. Thank you so much. Back to Claudia.
Yes, thank you. We enjoyed it and we hope you did too. Marcy, do we have some questions in the chat box?
We definitely do. And I'm also going to advise people to look at the chat box because there's some great shared notes in there that will also be helpful. Your first question is, what is your advice to stay focused day to day on our job search? Do you think it is the one thing that ensures results?
Well, when we talked about putting together our goals and our objectives and our action plan, they should be so specifically named that you know exactly where you're going. The key to sticking with it and going forward is to make sure that it's where you can see it every single day. I have mine in a frame behind my desk so that every day I can look and see what my overall objective is, what my overall goal is, what my objectives are, and what my action plan for that day is. It's very important to me to have it in front of me and to have it so that I can look at it and so that my reward finding brain can tell where I am in the process each and every minute.
Thank you. Second question. When you have been retired for a number of years but wish to get back involved as a consultant, would the market plan, etc., be different? Many of the prior connections are no longer available. So how do you target people now?
So from a consulting standpoint, the marketing plan was really designed for employment. If you're going back into employment, you can use the same concept. If you're pursuing consulting, you may be starting from scratch, but your best source is people. The if you were me question, knowing people in your industry, knowing other consultants, knowing people who are influential. I'm considering going back into consulting in XYZ field. If you were me, who should I be talking to? If you were me, what should I be thinking about? Just by asking some open-ended questions, you'll get a ton of knowledge to get you off on the right foot. And you'll continue to collect information, and you might go this way and then a little bit this way, but you'll get there. But it starts with identifying what you want to do and start talking to the right people.
Rich, I also think this might have been something that was a response to what you were discussing. Sometimes I am hesitant to recommend someone. I know them well as a friend, but I do not know how they will do on the job. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, there's no easy answer. What you can explain is what you don't know about them. I'm so proud to go to church with Jimmy. He's incredibly responsible. I see him helping others. I would tell you I've not worked in the employment environment with him. So explain what you know, but it's okay to say, but we haven't worked directly together.
The next question is, what is your opinion about using the Rotary and Rotaract network to make your career passions known? And do you think it's ethical?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No question. This is really Rotarians helping Rotarians while they're employed, while they're not employed, while they're considering opportunities, pondering retirement. Absolutely lean on your Rotarians. Again, Rotarians helping Rotarians is really, to me, it's the core of who we are. Don't think twice. Go for it. Don't be shy.
It's part of the value of Rotary. It's a value that Paul Harris cherished when he started this networking organization in 1905. But it is absolutely, as Rich just said, Rotarians helping fellow Rotarians. It's a great idea.
Another question, would something like LinkedIn be a good place for consulting?
Rich?
LinkedIn is a great place for everything. Employment, consulting, business ownership. LinkedIn is a staple for all things career. If you are in a career in some shape or form, trying to earn money to put food on your table, LinkedIn is absolutely required. I actually know many consultants who are incredibly active on LinkedIn with articles, with postings, seeking introductions, joining groups. And in our February 10th session, you're going to get another earful of how critical LinkedIn is for your career.
And Rich will be leading that session too.
Great. Looks like there's a couple more questions. The next one is there a general rule of thumb for setting prices for service? I'm going to assume this is consulting by industry.
Not that I'm aware of. That's part of doing your homework, identifying what you're really good at, what you specialize in, who would hire you for your consulting talents. And you would really have to talk to people in the industry to find out what the going rates are. Make sure you don't charge too little, or make sure you don't charge too much. But that really would be part of your due diligence, figuring out what you should charge.
And as you go through the list of things that might be on websites that you might research in your consulting efforts, some of those may have some ideas of highs and lows or what you should do with your pricing.
Great. And we have one last question that is, I find it hard to know what I want to do as I haven't had much experience in many different areas. It makes it difficult to know where to start.
The session that Claudia and I hosted on January 13th, it's on the website. It's on the Rotary Works website. It is fully recorded. I advise watch that video, seek to understand. During that recorded video, we also offered a very simple exercise, very, very simple exercise that someone could do in the comfort of their own home, that time, to figuring out what they want to do. And I really admire people who step up and say, I'm not entirely sure what I should do. And at that point, you really kind of put the brakes on your search. And here's why. You are 80 to 90% likely to be led to your next career leg by somebody you know slightly, somebody you know well. Okay. They don't want to know or shouldn't hear, I'm not sure what I want to do. That's not a good thing. With some people, you only have one shot. So you got to be prepared. You got to have your ducks in a row before you display your passions. Here's what I want to do and why. Even if it means taking off a few weeks to figure out that why. Okay, you gotta have your ducks in a row. So in fact, I heard from a Rotarian after our first broadcast in December who told me he wasn't he contacted me, found me on LinkedIn. We connected, and he said, I'm not completely certain I know which way to go, Rich. Would you meet with me? Okay. So we met and had that same exercise, gave him some things to think about, asked him to reflect what are his passions, what's important to him, what are his talents. And we talked about marketing, and he let me know last week he found a terrific opportunity and accepted the offer. So figuring out your why, what you should pursue, and saying with confidence and conviction is critical. Again, go back to the January 13th vocational evaluation and opportunities broadcast. So even if you're tired of seeing Claudia and I, go to that webcast. We guarantee it will help you. And if not, you come back to Claudia or myself.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much, Rich and Claudia. And I'm going to turn it back to our host, Steve.
Well, on behalf of all of the Rotarians who are involved in this Rotary Works initiative, I want to thank every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend today's session. And we hope you found this session informative. Again, it's been mentioned a couple of times, but I'll just give you one last reminder on the way out the door. Please join us for the February 10th session. And if you would like to see today's session again, if there's a lot of information in there, you can simply go to the website in a couple of days, and this entire recorded session will be available to you. So thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.